Tabbies? Welcome to today's video. And today, like I've said, we'll be talking about the client from hell that I basically had. And so let me tell you, what happened so that you can catch up to speed. Like, what does it mean, like fitness coach? Like, what would be a client from hell? And basically, I would say, this person, she doesn't like she seems to know what she wants to do, but she doesn't. That's the conclusion that I would have from like my experience with her. So like for I mean even at the gym or online, we'll usually ask for a free consultation with us coaches, and the reason for those is not like to scam you or anything, is to let us and let you know like how things gonna work. If you have any questions, like look at your exercise overall, and what, like when we're like, okay, we can move forward, that's when we'll be doing exercise that's like different components that we focus on, right? So this person just skipped all that. She came in late to the appointment, which is like the first red flag, which I'm like, well, that's fine. But also, just, and then she didn't pay for the session. So I'm like, what do you mean? Like you have to go pay. And she's like, well, I think it's automatic. I'm like, no, this is, like we told you this is free consultation, but you don't want it. So now you have to pay for the session, right? So she's like, well, okay, I'll pay it. And she went pay it, right? No big deal. I just come back and she's like, keep complaining. Like, should be automatic or whatever. Like, I'm like, it's not like it's a gym that I work at, not, the business that I own. I don't own a gym. I work at one. So it's like, well, that's, the gym's policy. I'm here just to like, follow it, and you have to do it so that we can serve you well in this community. And so yeah, we'll begin, then we'll talk about things, and then she give me a bit of concern, like, some pain here and there, and she wants some exercises to help with that, right? So that's your normal um normal questions that we would get as fitness coaches, like what kind of exercise can I do to target my pain here and there. So she knows what she's doing, right? She's a doctor, so she knows what she's doing, so that's gonna come in very handy later on. So well, I'm like, okay, since it's your first time here, we have to do like an assessment. So it's not gonna be like big deal or anything, but we usually do an assessment, especially on the people who like pay and stuff, so that we can see like where you are before and after. Like just for us, like I usually, like you see me, I don't do that, but for just the better part of this client, every client that we want to give them sort of like a beginning point, and then we'll work, because it's not about just BMI and body fat. It's also about how much strength they have, like how much can they squat, how much can they do chest press, leg press, all of that stuff. So that's the thing. So she's following me around, and then I'm like, okay, so I can see that you have a lot of weaknesses here and there. So let's come up with like a strength routine, right? That's what she came in for, a strength routine, because she got pain here and there, right? So I give her pain, like just some routine to do, and literally she just kept. She's a doctor and she's like a cardiologist, and she just kept asking me about cardio, and I'm like, well, you didn't tell me that we're gonna work on that, so I didn't prep for it. Literally, like you'd be like, ooh, what kind of number should I be? I'm 66, so like, what kind of number should I be? And then I'm like, I mean, this is an equation, but I don't have it. I haven't done it beforehand because you didn't tell me to prepare for it. To like, how would like math is not my strong suit anymore. Like I'm not in school for a couple of years, so like math is not no longer my strong suit because I just don't use it. So I'm like, I don't know. Like, I mean, I know your age, the equation, but you gotta give me sort of like some time to find it, right? And she come in for strength routine, and then half of the time, I would say come in late, half of the time it was all about cardio for some reason. And I'm like, well, you're here to help with your pain, like your back pain, and I'm giving you like the back pain exercises, and we're at the gym, so that's what we're doing, right? And then she just kept asking all and all about cardio. What do we do? What do this gym does to the elderly people? Like, what do you mean that you don't do this? And I'm like, you're here for strength, not cardio. If it's a cardio, usually, because with cardio, especially with newer people and people who's like been not been working out like regularly for cardio, I usually like give them, small things they can do, right? Things that they can do so that they can get started. And then later on, I'll monitor them at the gym. And usually it's very simple. It doesn't, and she went, what speed should I be at? What number should I be? And then she just kept looking at her, the heart rate monitor we have, at the treadmill, we have the heart rate monitor, which is not the most accurate thing, I would say. It's been wildly odd. I like because I have a Apple Watch, and I also compared that when I walk on a treadmill and use these kind of like heart rate trackers that they have on these machines, and they don't really work and well. But I'm like, well, whatever. Like, you just keep. And then she just kept complaining, like, why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? What do you mean? And she literally, that's I think where she crossed the line for me was, and she asked like, are you educated at all in this? And I'm like, wow, what do you mean that, like you didn't come in and you didn't tell me what you want. Like, you come in for strength and you kept squeezing me. And the thing is, she's a cardiologist, so obviously like a heart doctor, so she knows what cardio is. Like, why are you telling me to talk about this? What, like, you're quizzing me at this point? Because obviously I don't know as much about the heart as she does. Like, that's just a fact, and I accept it. But like, she's here for the muscles part, not the heart. If she's already good, like, what's the point? And so literally that's why I'm like, after that, I'm just giving her like whatever. And then on the email, I literally said like she might need to look for somebody else if she doesn't think I can help her. Because we're at the gym, so we have other coaches, other people that can work with her as well. So if she's feel like, well, I'm not good enough, then I don't care. Because I know that afterwards she came out and she's like, Fong's a nice person. She knows what she's doing. She helped. I'm like, I don't care. Like, you cross so many lines in the business. Like, like the first thing that I told you, like the first consultation, that's why I do it for free here online. But also my gym does it because every reputable place, they would do that. Either at a discount place, like, either, a 2-week trial time, or, just a free consultation. And the reason being, like, we lower those rate or even make it free is that we can learn how things work. Like, we can learn like what you need as a person, like what's your health like. You don't need to have everything articulated out. That's why you come to me to ask about those. But you also want to know how I work things, because the way I work might not be the same way that you think is gonna work. That's this heart doctor. She's like, well, you have to exercise 45 minutes a day for 5 days to protect your heart. And I'm like, we don't need to do that, because if you do that, how are you going to work on your strength? Right? Nobody has more than, usually a lot of you here, you don't exercise more than an hour a day, like 3 days a week. That's quite good. That's a lot. Like, you don't have 5 days and then just do cardio. Like, what about your strength part? You still have your flexibility part to work on. And so that's a very unrealistic. And she's like, well, that's the only way to deal with, like hypertension, whatever, and obesity. And I'm like, well, but if you do strength, that's still gonna help. You can, that's, like the gold standard of cardio is 45 minutes for 5 days a week, which is like unrealistic to the most of us. And we actually, research have shown that you don't need to do as much, because what ended up happening is like, you get like diminishing returns when you do too much. Like, yes, you do the first, like the core, which is like about an hour a week of cardio. That's like the most efficient. And then the more you add in, obviously it's going to help, but the returns per minute afterward isn't as great. And so for some people who like me, I hate cardio. Cardio isn't my big thing. So I only do like 1 or 2 days a week for cardio, and I do strength for the rest of my days. That doesn't mean that my cardio is bad. Like, my cardio when I went into the doctor is actually better than almost half the office, I would say. And so, yeah, that was a very bad experience. And what I want to show you is, so when you work with a fitness coach or even anybody, when you're not hurt and you want to improve yourself, you look for somebody who's offer a free discovery call, or, a discount rate for their first session. And the reason being is that you can bring your questions there to see how they work, if they are the right fit for you. You don't want to waste their time or your time and money into this person and then find out that, like you guys are not right. Maybe, yeah, my approach is, like start slow and then you can increase, like snowball up later. That is my philosophy when I train people. And so if you're somebody who's like been working hard and you're like, well, I want to do this right at the beginning, ah, chances are I don't feel comfortable, giving it to you if I don't see, like that person, that doctor, she came in with pain. So I'm like, you have not been working at all. You're deconditioned. You cannot like, just jump in and do crazy stuff. You're gonna hurt yourself. But like if somebody else, like if other trainers might be able to help you with that, like jump in hard and then do quick, like that's their approach, then you should try it. But for me, my experience, the best way is actually for you to be nudged and then take the next step. Like I have a lot of successful people who's just like liking exercise just because, like that's they're like they truly want it as, they get better. So you start with something small and then you like just slowly build up that momentum and then you ended up with a great exercise routine that works with all of your needs, like cardio needs, muscular needs, and also flexibility needs, and all of that we can address. But the way to get there, there's so many approaches to that and different trainers. That's why it's, called personal trainers, or fitness coach, because we're pretty much very personalized, and our approach, most of the time can work with most people because, we kind of agree on things. But for some, because we have like our path, just our way of thinking diverges so much that it's not worth wasting the time to, like not doing it. So that's something that I like to everybody to see when they seek out a fitness coach is check out, just ask for a free consultation or just, like a discount rate for the first hour simply to know how things supposed to work. And then once you know how things supposed to work, then you can decide because, I don't nobody's gonna feel bad if we realize that, our approach is not right for each other, because then we don't have to waste our time, money, and then feel like extremely annoyed. Like I'm just so annoyed by that person. I'm like, she left. I'm like, that's it. I told my gym manager, like, I'm not like next time she's get like I'm not working with her anymore. Like that's it. I don't care. Like I don't care how much praises she's gonna give me or how much crap she's gonna give me on her thing, but it's not worth it for me to have to deal with somebody who's like, are you educated at all? You have a certificate? Did you go to school for this? Huh? What did they teach you? Like, I don't want to deal with that crap. All right. And that's pretty much my experience from the client from hell. Probably, I would say, dealing with doctors and stuff is the worst thing ever because they just, they're so used to, like teaching people. And then when you try to teach them, it's sort of like extremely hard and they don't want to listen. But thank you so much for listening to this point, and I hope that you have a wonderful weekend.